Testing, testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. On a cool, breezy 68-degree evening here in David City, Nebraska, the Monarchs will kick off game number 4 of the 2020 football season. Hi again, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening on YouTube. I am Brandon Timoney. I will be bringing the action to you all night long. A lot of excitement out in the crowd. The Monarchs and the Warriors set to do battle here tonight.
Between the Crofton Warriors and the
At this time, we'll turn it over to public address announcer Russ Morveds for the prayer and the national anthem. Kickoff coming up shortly.
Both schools is to keep the students in classes and participating in activities such as in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, watch over these players and keep them safe from harm. We ask that you help the players, coaches, officials, and parents treat each other as they would want to be treated, with respect, love, understanding, patience, and appreciation. Give all of us the wisdom to make sportsmanship, the enjoyment of this game, and the lessons learned from competition more important than the final score. When we play, give us courage. When we win, give us humility. When we lose, give us peace. In all that we do, let our lives praise you. We ask this through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Please remain standing for the presentation of our colors by the 4th degree Knights of Columbus, St. Thomas Aquinas Assembly number 3301. The national anthem will be performed tonight by the Aquinas Pep Band under the direction of Mrs. Helen Ostick.
And so with that, we are just about ready to get underway here from Memorial Field here in David City.
Sportsmanship by students, athletes, coaches, and
As I said, the Monarchs
who are asking for your help. Please demonstrate
ready for game number 4 here. The Monarchs at 3-0 on the young season with wins over Bishop Newman, Utica Centennial, and just last week, Columbus SCOTUS.
for your cooperation and wish the best of luck to both teams.
Crofton, well, they're 1-1. Game number 3 for them. Their season opener was a 48-7 win at Twin River last week. A loss to number 1 in Class C2 Oakland Craig. They lost by the score of 30-13 in that one. Head coach for the Monarchs, Ron Mimick. Tom Allen, the head man for the Warrior squad. Monarchs won the toss and deferred their choice to the second half. Crofton electing to receive the opening kickoff, which will be delivered by Lucas Sellers. Sellers, the backup kicker on this team, as the Monarchs are still without their starting kicker, Brian Check, who's out due to an injury. Ball fielded. Pushed out of bounds on the far sideline. Return by Austin Tramp, 165-pound senior. So we'll see the Monarch defense out on the field first, as the Warriors will begin their possession at the 38-yard line. Little quarterback sneak. First play of the game. Quarterback for this Warrior team is Zach Weber. Zach Weber, he's a big guy. He's 235 pounds. He's a senior. This Aquinas defense is pretty stingy. Not going to let anything come easy. They're going to make you fight for everything you gain. In slow motion and a pitch to Jimmy Allen. Rowdy Truxa in on the stop for the Monarchs. Brings up a third down and manageable, about a third down and 2 from the Warrior 45. Weber, Allen in a little motion again. He gets the pitch again, and he looks like he's got just enough for the Warrior first down. Truxa again in on the stop for the Monarchs, but that will be enough, it looks like, and it is enough for a Warrior first down.
First and 10 at their own 49-yard line.
Ball right near midfield now, as we're just underway in this one. Weber. Allen this time on the other side. He gets the pitch once again, and there's not much there. Stacked right there at the line of scrimmage by a whole host of Monarchs. Looks like Rowdy Truxa in again on the stop. Riley Miller also coming up from that pile. Jackson Ondrachek also came up from the bottom of that pile. This Monarch defense not afraid to gang tackle. Gain of about a yard. And the ball will be right at midfield now, as a late substitution. Official timeout is Warrior lineman had to come off. Needed attention paid for an injury. We're ready to go now. Weber under center. Allen again in motion. He turns around and keeps it. There's not a whole lot there either. About a yard gain. Keegan Levitsky, one of the leading linebackers on this Monarch defense, comes up with the stop. Kind of an interesting little play there, as Allen, the halfback, went in kind of that slow walking motion, and Weber just kind of gave him the old spin move and tried going back the other way. Monarch stuffed it right out, and now we're going to have an early timeout by the Warriors. Warriors with a big third down coming up here early in this one. They take a timeout. We're just underway. Just under 9 minutes left to go in quarter number 1. Warriors started at about the 35-yard line.
Offering up 400 tickets at $100 apiece in this
They've only
fundraising
got
effort.
to midfield thus far on a third down coming up for them.
The building tonight, you can buy a ticket from him. There's all kinds of good prizes to give away. A John Deere Gator.
Crofton, after this one, they'll have a home game against Takema Herman, and then they'll head out west to Valentine,
Those tickets are the drawing.
and then Hartington Cedar Catholic.
Thursday, October 22nd, during the David City Scout Oakland Craig football game. So get yourself a ticket. They're $100.
Aquinas, as I mentioned, 3-0 on the young season with wins over Newman at Centennial, and as I said last week, at home against Columbus SCOTUS.
Healthcare Foundation raffle this year. Thank you.
Next week, the Monarchs will head over to Oakland Craig as a 1 versus 2 matchup in that one. So on third down now, Weber looks to pass, being rushed. He's got him. He's down. Weber couldn't find a connection, and he's sacked by Paul Burrish. Huge stop on third down for the Monarchs. That's a loss of about 11.
Brings up fourth down. And about 17. The ball is at the Warrior.
And the Warriors will be forced to punt. And the punt may have been partially blocked, but a penalty flag is thrown as the fair catch is made by Curtis Humlicek. We might see a roughing the punter here. Certainly looked like that punt may have been partially blocked. We'll get the official call here. And
Well, we think it's blocking the punter.
well, we're not sure what it is now. Ref's still talking about it. Ref did not give a very clear signal, and now we have a roughing the punter.
Personal foul roughing the kicker against the Monarchs.
That's kind of an unfortunate deal because you had the Monarchs in pretty decent field position. Humlicek fair caught that ball at about the 40-yard line. So you're talking about a drive that starts almost at midfield, and now the Warriors get 15 yards and an automatic first down.
It'll be first and 10 at the Monarchs.
This one was a great stop for the Monarchs, as now may have turned into Crofton's fortune here as Weber back in at quarterback. And the pitch is to Tramp. He cracks up the middle for about 3.
Number 14, Austin Tramp. Tackle at number 41, Rowdy Truxa.
Rowdy Truxa, called his name a few times already. He's in on the stop for the Monarchs.
And with about 3 in the play, the second and 7 ball at the Monarch 41-yard line.
That roughing the punter penalty could turn out to be something of importance here if the Warriors do in fact march down the field and score. Looked like that punt may have been partially blocked, but well, the refs are out there and I'm up here, so what do I know? The pitch is to Allen again.
Ball carried with
Not a whole lot there. He's wrapped up by Caleb Teggy.
tackle led by number 9, Rylan Crowley.
Rylan Cromie also in on the stop. These Monarch defenders, I tell you, they got a nose for the football. They find it and they go get it.
Ball's going to be spotted at the 37-yard line.
Of course, that Monarch defense led by longtime assistant coach Tony Smith. He has taken over the defensive coordinator roles for this Monarch team. Another third down opportunity here for the Warriors. Monarchs looking to stop them once again. Weber, Allen in that short little walking motion. He gets the pitch, and he finds a seam up the middle, and he's got enough for the first down. Just does sneak into the secondary of the Monarchs.
10 for the Warriors. Ball's going to be spotted at the Monarch 27-yard line.
John Prohaska in on the stop for the Monarchs. Tramp comes out. Running back Jackson Wiebelhaus. Allen in that slow walking motion. That's a pretty good play for them. And he gets the pitch again, and he goes for about 11 yards. He does stay in bounds, though. Teggy in on the stop once again for the Monarchs. Halfway through quarter number 1, no score, but the Warriors driving may have received a little gift on what was a fantastic third down stop for the Monarchs, turned into a roughing the punter on 4th. That handoff to Tramp. Not much there, about 3 yards, maybe 4. Ryland Cromie in on the stop. Cromie, one of the seniors on this Monarch team. Warriors in the red zone now. They're at about the 13-yard line. Monarch defense looking for a stop. The give is to Allen again, and he squeaks around the right side. He's got enough for another first down. Caleb Teggy in on the stop once again for the Monarchs. Warriors just keep pushing it. They're now first and goal. Ball is at the 5-yard line as we tick under 5 minutes to go in quarter number 1. Weber. Handoff. And he's right down near the goal line. Is Allen. He is stopped just short at about the 2-yard line. Those plays from Crofton, they're quick hitters. They certainly don't waste a lot of time. Here's Weber, out about the 2-yard line. Allen in motion again. The pitch is to Allen, and he is stood up. Did the second effort get him in? He did. The Monarch defensive line had him stood up at about the 1-yard line. A second effort and maybe a little push from his offensive lineman knocked him over the goal line. So the Warriors with a pretty effective drive here on their opening offensive series. They go about 62 yards. In just over 8 minutes. And now a 2-point try on a botched extra point attempt is no good. Jackson Wiebelhaus tried sneaking in. And he's stopped by Ryland Cromie and Rowdy Truxa. So the 2-point try is no good with 3:58 left to go in quarter number 1. The Warriors take an early 6-0 lead over the Monarchs. We'll see how much that roughing the punter penalty really affected the Monarchs later on, but it certainly looked like the Monarchs were going to have the football in excellent field position. A third and 8. They sack Weber on a pass attempt. They brought up a 4th and 17 on what looked like a partially blocked punt. I know I've said it a few times, but it did look partially blocked, but nevertheless, a roughing the kicker was called, and that gave the Warriors a new set of downs and 15 yards, and they did not throw that opportunity away.
Picking off number 56, Paul Konechny.
Paul Konechny He's a 265-pound kicker. And he boots it away. Pretty good kick. Napier will field it at about the 15. And he's going to be wrapped up only after about a 5-yard return. He's wrapped up by William Poppy. And that's where the Monarchs will start at about the 21-yard line, and we'll see Caleb Teggy at quarterback for these Monarchs. The Monarchs will give you a pretty balanced rushing attack. Teggy will carry, Kyle Napier will carry, Michael Andel, Keegan Levitsky, and even Curtis Humlichek here. The give is to Levitsky, working around the left side. He gets about 2 yards. Tackle made by Strand Sage for the Warriors. As I said, Monarchs will try to hit you with a couple different weapons. They've got a few ball carriers. They'll go inside. They'll go outside. Levitsky in motion again. The handoff is up the middle. I believe that was Michael Andel. I checked that. It was Napier on the carry. Dather in on the stop for the Warriors. That'll bring up a 3rd and 5 for the Monarchs. Man in motion again is Napier. He gets the handoff. He's around the corner, and he's up to about the 35-yard line. Tackle made by Austin Tramp, but not before the Monarchs. On a gain of about 7 or so. Gave the Monarchs just enough for a first down right at their own 35-yard line. Nice little run by Napier there. Knew he only needed to get 5, but added a couple more for insurance. Teggy calling out the signal at the line. Man in motion again is Napier. The give is up the middle to Andel. And he wrestles his way forward for a gain of about 4. Sage in again on the stop for the Warriors. Michael Andel only 180 pounds, but he's a brute. He's 180, but plays like 220. He can flat run you over. And he's proven that at fullback for the Monarchs thus far in the young season. Man in motion is Levitsky again. He gets the handoff. He's chased from behind. Tackled from behind by Weber and Jaden Zimmerman. Zimmerman chased him from behind and was able to knock him down. So another 3rd and 5 situation for the Monarchs. This time ball at the 40-yard line. Teggy calling the signal. Man in motion is Napier. Teggy back to pass, being rushed, and he's going to get sacked. Loss of 10 for the Monarchs. Sack led by Lang and Zimmerman. Jack Lang and Jaden Zimmerman administer the sack for the Warriors. So the punt team out for the Monarchs. Kyle Napier handles the punting duties. He gets a pretty high one away. And it will be down by Ryland Cromie at about the Warrior 40-yard line, and that's where they'll take over. So the Monarchs, 1 first down on that drive. They do end up getting stopped by the Warrior defense, and the Warrior offense back out there, led by quarterback Zach Weber. Zach Weber listed on the program as a quarterback defensive end. That's not a combination you see too often, but certainly he has the stature for it at 235 pounds. Long count, pitches to Allen, and he's tripped up after a gain of about 1 by Kobza. Brett Kobza, one of the captains on this Monarch squad. Captains are voted on by his teammates. Gain of about 1, and I believe that play will bring us to the end of the first quarter. Well, both teams with one offensive possession this quarter. The Warriors able to capitalize on theirs. Monarchs unable to capitalize on theirs. And the Warriors out in front of the offensive possession. At the end of quarter number 1, the Warriors out with an early 6-0 lead over the Monarchs here in David City. So the Warriors back out there, quarter number 2 just about to get underway here. Warriors, as I said, up 6-0 early on. It will be a 2nd down and 9 situation at the 42-yard line of their own. As Allen in motion, this time across the formation. Weber back to pass, he unleashes, and he throws a little bit too high for Allen. Had Jimmy Allen open in the flat, and he just overthrew his man. That would have been a nifty little catch. That'll bring up a 3rd down and long, 3rd down and 9 for the Warriors. Warriors on 3rd down and 9, maybe in a passing situation, maybe not. Certainly looks that way. 2 wide receivers to the near side. Weber rolling out to pass. He's in trouble, and he's down. The initial hit laid by Michael Andel. A whole other host of Monarchs in there to get him. Rowdy Truck's in there, but the initial contact was made by Michael Andel. That brings up about a 9-yard loss. That's the 2nd sack for the Monarch defense tonight. Certainly in those passing situations, they go find the quarterback. Tramp the punter for the Warriors. Curtis Humlicek to return for the Monarchs. Low line drive. Excuse me, that's John Prohaska back there. Prohaska will pick it up at the 25-yard line. And he only gets about 3 or 4 yards before he's tackled by Sam Terrell. William Poppy also there. So the Monarchs will take over at about the 29-yard line on their own side of the field. Only a minute gone here in quarter number 2. Monarchs looking to get some kind of momentum going here on their 2nd offensive drive. They had 1 first down on their first, and then were forced to punt. Teggy lines up at quarterback. Napier in motion. The give is to Napier around the edge. Tries to cut back. He does find a cutback lane. And gets about 5 yards. Dather in on the stop for the Warriors, but a nice little 5-yard gain there by Napier. We'll call it gain of 6. That'll bring up 2nd down and 4 from the Monarch 35. Teggy looking over to the sideline. Napier in motion again. The give is up the middle to Ando. And he's got enough for a first down. Nice little run by Ando. Wayne Bilka. First time we've called his name tonight. He's in on the stop for the Warriors.
First and 10 at the 43-yard line.
So first down and 10 for the Monarchs at the 43-yard line. Man in motion is Levitsky. He gets it. Coming to the near side. He gets around the edge. Cut back. And he's across midfield to the 45. That's a gain of 12 and a first down. Nice run by Keegan Levitsky. Tackle made by number 5, Jimmy Allen. And number 12, Zach Weber. Nice little end-around run. Nice little end-around run for Levitsky there. And the Monarchs across midfield and may have something going here on this drive. Teggy now under center. Man in motion is Napier. The give is up the middle to Ando. And he gets about 2 yards before he's stopped. Strand Sage once again in on the stop for the Warriors. 9.5 minutes left to play here. Half number 1. Warriors the only one that's hit pay dirt so far. Monarchs driving though. Monarchs getting set. Teggy waits, now under center. It's a reverse. Hand off to Napier. Napier's got a seam up the middle. He breaks free. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Napier. Little trickery from Coach Mimic there, and the Monarchs find the end zone. Nice little 35-yard double handoff. And Napier finds a seam right up the middle and takes it all the way home. John Prohaska now on for the extra point try. His try is up. And it is good. Kick good by number 4, John Prohaska. And after a little burst of explosion there from the Monarchs, they find the end zone with 9 minutes left to play in half number 1. They take the 7-6 lead. Oh, with 9 minutes left to go in half number 1, the Monarchs were able to let some sparks fly and find the end zone. You can't keep the Monarch offense down for very long. They just find ways. They just keep hitting you with the little runs, until they can break the big one. John Prohaska to kick. I mentioned earlier, and number 4 was Luke Sellers. Luke Sellers is actually number 7. Number 4 is also listed as Luke Sellers on the program, but it is John Prohaska, the backup kicker for the Monarchs. Returned by Tramp out to the 40-yard line. Tackle made by Teggy. So the Warriors will come out and try their hand at the offensive side of the ball again. A beautiful evening here in David City, here at Memorial Field. A beautiful Friday night for football. Weber under center. Takes a snap. He turns on, pitches to Allen. Allen looking. Scoots around the edge. Sidesteps a would-be tackler. And gets to about the 49-yard line. Prohaska in on the stop for the Monarchs. Curtis Umlicek also in there
Play, second and
for the Monarchs.
at the Crofton 49-yard line.
Nice little shifty run by Allen. He was able to find the small crease and scoot through. So bring up second down and short for the Warriors. Warriors in the I formation. And the give is to Tramp up the middle. He's got enough for the first down, but that's about all he gets, as he gets a gain of about 2. It looks like he does just cross over midfield for the Warriors. That is enough for a first down.
First and 10 for the Warriors. Ball's going to be spotted at the Monarch 49-yard line.
Tramp bringing in the play from the sideline. On first down, one man split out to the far side is Ostermeyer. Weber under center in the I formation turns. Pitches to Allen. Allen scoots his way forward. A gain of about another 9. Tackle made by Prohaska.
Number 4, Tom Prohaska, and number 55, Nolan Eller.
Nolan Eller also in on the stop there
Gain of about 9 on the play.
for the Monarchs.
Ball at the Monarch 41-yard line.
Now Weber, that was pretty slick. He had some blood on his arm and ran over to the sidelines. Says, I'll get to play myself, and lets the trainer tape him up, and he's back on the field without missing a play. Warriors again in that I formation. Poppy, their tailback, their fullback, and this time the give is to Tramp, and he's met and thrown down by Brett Kobza.
First and 10 for Crofton.
That's a gain of about 4, but that is a first down once again for the Warriors.
At the 37-yard line.
6.5 left to play here, half number 1. The Warriors looking to answer the Monarchs' call. Cal Napier with a 35-yard touchdown run. Just a few moments ago, Ostermeyer split out to the near side. Weber under center, turns, pitches to Allen. Allen tripped up after a gain of about 3. Nolan Eller in there to make the stop for the Monarchs. Sun's going down. We're going to see the brand new lights installed here at Memorial Field. These lights, of course, installed just a few weeks ago in anticipation for the start of the football season. Weber under center. Tramp in the slow walking motion again. He gets the pitch. And he picks up a nice chunk of yardage. Gets about 7. He's close to the first down marker.
Tackle led by number 54, Brett Crofton.
Cobb's in on the tackle for the Monarchs. He does come up just short of the first down.
Third and short. Almost 1 to go. Ball is going to be spotted at the
Third and
20-yard line.
looks like about less than a yard. Maybe 6 inches. Weber under center. And he's going to quick sneak, and he's got it. Weber with a quick cadence. And he almost falls forward for about a gain of 5. And the Warriors have a first down.
23-yard line.
Monarchs looking for a stop here on defense. Warriors marching right down the field. Looking for an answer to that Warrior rushing attack. Weber gets it. He'll do sneak again. And he gains about 3. And now he's down to the 20-yard line. Michael Andel in on the stop for Aquinas. So Weber under center again. One man to the near side. Allen in a slow motion again. He gets the pitch. And he's going to scoot. And he's still fighting. And he's down inside the 5-yard line. Tough to bring him down that time, but Napier is able to wrangle him down inside the 5. He's right at the 5. Monarchs looking for a goal line stop here. We're under 4 minutes to go in half number 1. Weber. Tramp in a slow motion. He gets the pitch in the backfield. He fights. And he gets down to about the 1, but he is just short of the goal line. Nolan Eller in on the stop for the Monarchs. Quite an interesting play there. The Warriors have used it a lot here in the first half. One of the backs just kind of walks in motion and then gets the pitch almost right behind the quarterback, and Weber is going to take the sneak right over the goal line for the Warrior touchdown. So the Warriors, with about a 60-yard drive there, used up about 6 minutes of game clock. And they cap it off with the Zach Weber 1-yard sneak for the touchdown. Warriors looking like they're going to go for 2 here. Make up the point they lost on their first try. Weber under center. Man in motion. And there's a penalty flag. They might have drew the Monarchs offside. And they did. That slow motion, something the Monarchs have not seen yet this year. And Crofton is using it to their advantage here in the first half. So here we go. Crofton lines it up again. Half the distance closer, and the keep is by, well, the give was to Allen, and he gets in there. Confused me up here. It looked like Weber was just going to turn around and keep it, but instead he gives it off to Allen, and Allen gets into the end zone. So a back and forth battle thus far. Warriors punch it in, Monarchs punch it in, and the Warriors come right back. With just over 3 minutes remaining left in half number 1, the Warriors now back out in front, 14-7. Gotta wonder how much that roughing the punter penalty really affected the Monarchs there on the opening drive for the Warriors. The Monarchs had the Warriors stopped dead in their tracks. They had a 4th and 17. Things look promising for the Monarchs. And a roughing the punter penalty negated that and gave the Warriors new life. Perhaps that could come in more importance in the second half. But for now, it remains all speculation. Nice kick by Conchene. The return is tripped up by Poppy. John Prohaska had a full head of steam, and Poppy was able to knock him off of his feet at around the 25-yard line. So with 3 minutes left to go in the first half, the Monarchs will try to make something here. Maybe bust a big play. They've got all 3 timeouts, so certainly can stop the clock at any given time if they want to. Here's Teggy back in at quarterback for the Monarchs. He's back to pass. Steps up in the pocket, avoids the pressure, loses the football. And no signal yet. I believe Teggy did get back on it, and he did. So Teggy, avoiding the rush, tried stepping up in the pocket, had the ball knocked out of his hands. But he was able to get back on it.
Second down and 23. Ball is going to be
Monarchs lose about 13 yards on that mishap. Teggy now under center, man in motion. The give is up the middle to Andel. And not much there. He gains about 3. Zimmerman in on the stop.
Third down. Ball at the 15-yard line.
That'll bring up about 3rd and 20 from the Monarch 15 as Teggy under center turns, loses the football again, and this time the Warriors may have gotten on it. No signal yet. Looks like the Monarchs do get back on top of it. That'll bring up 4th down, and now the Warriors call a timeout to stop the clock. And now the Warriors will get the ball back in what seems to be pretty decent field position upcoming.
51.
And now they'll put 11 seconds back on the game clock. So the Warriors will have a minute and 51 seconds with the ball in what would seem to be pretty decent field position, barring a booming Kyle Napier punt. The Warriors going to see if they can try to add a little bit of insult to injury here before the half. Important if the Monarchs could get a stop here, because the Monarchs will receive the second half kickoff. So Napier will try to get off a punt here and increase the Monarch chances. The snap is good. The punt's high. Pretty decent punt by Napier. And it takes a sideways bounce for the Monarchs. Not the friendliest of bounces, but it is down by Prohaska at about the 47-yard line. So as I thought, the Warriors with pretty decent field position here. They're on their side of the field with about a minute 42 left to go in half number 1. Weber under center. Man split out to the near side is Tramp. Looking to pass a quick screen pass. Tramp falls down, and the pass is incomplete. Warriors try to quick hitting screen there, and Tramp, as he turned around, slipped and fell down.
Second and 10, ball at the 47.
Caleb Teggy was there on the coverage, but it'll bring up second down for the Warriors. Weber under center. The pitch is to Tramp. Sheds a tackler in the backfield and gains about 5 and is brought down by Levitsky. So the Warriors only with one timeout here, now facing a third down situation. Would be really beneficial for the Monarchs here to get a stop before the half, as they will receive the second half kickoff. Here's Weber under center. And he pitches back to Allen. Allen scoots and looks like he's got enough for the first down. whole host of Monarchs in there. For the tackle, Nolan Eller leading the pack.
For Crofton as Team Monarch.
But that does give Crofton enough for a first down. Under a minute left on the clock now. We're at 57 seconds and counting. Monarchs desperately needing a stop here before halftime. They'd certainly take going into the locker room down 1 score over 2. And now a penalty flag. I believe we're going to get a false start against the Warriors. So that'll back the Warriors up 5, but it also does stop the clock, which is not necessarily what the Monarchs want right now. They want to try to get that clock to 0 and take it to the halftime, only down 1 score and lessen the damage. Here's Warrior under center, Poppy in the backfield with him. A fake, Weber out to pass, and he's sacked once again. 3rd sack of the night for the Monarchs. Paul Burrish in there on the stop. Brett Cobb's also in on the stop. That's the 3rd sack of the night for the Monarchs. They will not let Weber pass much at all in this one. And that'll take us to halftime. So the Monarchs do their job, and they keep the score right where it's at heading into halftime. A solid first half by both teams. And the Warriors find themselves with a 7-point advantage. Well, we've reached halftime here in David City at Memorial Field. The score is Crofton 14, Aquinas 7. Back for second half action after the break. Well, welcome back to Memorial Field in David City. We're just moments away from half number 2. A pretty even keel first half in the terms of ball movement and scoring as such. The Monarchs will receive the second half kickoff as they won the toss and deferred. The Warriors, with an unusual offense, certainly one that I've yet to see. Nevertheless, whatever it is, it's effective. That's what it is. As they have put 14 up on the board in half number 1 to the Monarchs 7. We should be in for an exciting second half, nevertheless, here in David City. Humlicek. Konechny. As I mentioned earlier, 265-pound kicker, but he's got a leg on him. Return here is by Napier. He's out to the 20, up to the 25. And he crawls his way forward about the 29. Tackle made right there by Jimmy Allen. Jimmy Allen with an impressive first half on the offensive side of the football, as he was the main ball carrier in the rushing attack for Crofton. So the Monarchs with the ball now at the 29-yard line. They'll start there. Their first drive of half number 2. Taggy under center looking. Man in motion. Is Levitsky. Handoff is up the middle to Andel. Andel fights for about 2. And he's met right there by Weber. A gain of about 2. And an injured Warrior down on the field. I can't see a number. I believe that's number 55, which would be Jaden Zimmerman. And it is 55. It is Zimmerman. Zimmerman, a senior on this Crofton team. He's listed at 240 pounds. So after the injury timeout, we'll bring up second down at about 8. At the Monarch 31, handoff is to Napier. And ball is out. And I believe the Monarchs jumped on it. And they do. Napier had that ball poked out of his grasp as he was trying to squeeze through the line.
Third down about 10. Ball at the 29-yard line.
That brings up a loss of 2 yards. It'll bring up third down and 10. Monarchs really would like to get a first down here. They'd like to extend this drive. Needing some kind of momentum here to start the half. Taggy back to pass, rolling right to the far side. And he's dragged and thrown down. I didn't see over there who threw him down. I believe it was Poppy. I believe it was number 22, William Poppy, for the Warriors. Now the Warriors with a late substitution. As Napier's back to punt. Good snap. Napier barely gets the punt off. And it takes a little bit of a Monarch bounce. We'll be down at about the 46, maybe 47-yard line, and that's where the Warriors will take over for their first drive of the second half. Monarchs would have liked to gotten a little bit more out of that drive. Nevertheless, they're forced to punt. And they'll have to ask their defense to step up here. Weber under center, Poppy in the backfield. Man in motion. A little walking motion is Tramp. He gets the pitch. And he gets about 3, maybe 4 yards. That play was effective for him in half number 1. Brett Kobzan on the stop for the Monarchs. That play for the Warriors was the majority of their rushing attack in half number 1. Nothing too fancy. Unorthodox, but effective. Weber under center again, I formation, man. Motioning across his Weeblehouse. And the give is to the I-back, and he's met right at the line and dropped. Monarchs stuffed that one out. Right away, Andrzejczyk in the pile, Andel in the pile. Riley Miller made the stop, made the initial hit for the Monarchs. That'll bring up third down. Third down at about 6. Monarchs now really need a defensive stop here. Early on in this third quarter, that would be a huge momentum booster here to hold the Warriors to a 3-and-out. In the I formation, Poppy the fullback. The pitch is to Allen. Allen squirts free. He's got a first down and more. And he stays on his feet. He loses the football, and that's going to be recovered by the Monarchs. Jimmy Allen loses the football. Jump done by Jackson Andrzejczyk, and a break for the Monarchs as they'll take over on offense. Crofton coach is pleading with the referee, saying his man was down on the ground, but the referees see it otherwise. A break for the Monarchs as Jimmy Allen had a first down and more. And he almost broke a tackle, but he lost the football in doing so. Monarchs now 1st and 10. The give is to Michael Ando. He finds a seam. He busts up the middle. And he gains about 17. He's out to the 40-yard line. So maybe a little bit of life here now for the Monarchs after the fortunate series of events. As they now on their own 40. Teggy under center. Motion made down. Gain of about 2. Strand Sage in on the stop for the Warriors. 7.5 minutes left, third quarter. Monarchs looking to capitalize on a Warrior turnover. Give is to Napier. Napier is tripped up right around the line of scrimmage for no gain. Tackle made by Jimmy Allen. Weber also in on the stop for the Warriors. So after the big first run by Andel, now we're in a third down situation for the Monarchs. It's third down and 7 at about the 42. The give is up the middle. A little misdirection. The ball actually goes to Levitsky. Read well by the Warriors. Only gains him about a yard or 2. And that'll bring up fourth down. Sage in on the stop for the Warriors. He read that play almost from the get-go. And the Monarchs attempt at a little bit of misdirection there. It's snuffed out by the Warriors now, so after the turnover, the Monarchs unable to do anything as Napier punts the ball away. Nice punt by Napier. The Warriors let it bounce, and it takes a Warrior bounce and is down by Cromie at about the 34-yard line of the Warriors' own side of the field, and that's where they'll take over. Thought maybe the Monarchs could build a little momentum there after the Warrior turnover, but instead, after one first down, they are stopped and forced to punt. Now the defense will be asked to hold again. One man split to the near side. I formation for the Warriors. The give is to Allen. Allen stopped right there at the line of scrimmage. Brett Kobza slipped through the line, was able to bring him down for no gain.
Gain of about a yard on the play. 2nd and 9 ball at the 35-yard line.
Gave him about a yard on the play. Now to bring up 2nd down. We're halfway through quarter number 3. Warriors still clinging to that 14-7 lead. And it's a chess match right now, back and forth with the Warriors and the Monarchs. Weber under center again, Poppy behind him. And the give is to Poppy up the middle, and he's not going to get much there either. Hit and dropped by a whole host of Monarchs. Rowdy Truxa was the man that hit him first.
3rd down, about 7 ball at the 36-yard line. Make it the 37.
So now 3rd down and 7, and another chance for the Monarch defense to get a stop and get that football back. Same formation as last time. Weber under center, Poppy behind him. Allen the motion man. And Weber will call for a timeout. Warriors going to regroup. Monarchs will do the same. 4:56 left to go in quarter number 3. The Warriors still with that 14-7 lead over the Monarchs. Before the 3rd down play, I'll take a moment to wish one of my close friends, Nathan Ermacher, 21st birthday. Happy birthday out to Ermacher. Of course, Ermacher, a former all-conference, all-district player for the Monarchs. 3rd down now. Weber set to pass. Finds Tramp in the open field. He falls down, but he looks like he does just have enough for the 1st down. As, of course, I just mentioned, Ermacher celebrating his 21st birthday. Was a part of the last 2 Monarch football teams that won the state title back in 2014 and 2015. He was a freshman and sophomore in those years. The Monarchs again back in C2 in those days, bump up to C1, and now they're back in C2. Jimmy Allen with the little pitch play again. And he's drugged down by a whole host of Monarchs. Curtis Humlicek in there. Nolan Eller. Rowdy Truxa also in there on the stop for the Monarchs.
Gain of 5 on the play. 2nd and 5 ball across the 50 at the Monarch 49-yard line.
That's a gain of about 5. Ball, we'll call it right at midfield. As the clock is ticking, close to 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Weber under center. Poppy the fullback. Allen the tailback once again. He gets the pitch play. And he's stopped.
Yeah, ball carried by number 5, Jimmy
Right there by Truxa.
Tackle by number 67, Riley Miller, and 41, Rowdy Truxa. And it brings up third down and about 2. Ball at the Monarch 47.
So the Monarchs, another third down opportunity to stop here. I formation, Weber turns around, pitch to Allen. He's got enough for the first down.
Ball carried by number 5, Jimmy Allen.
Tackle made right there by Napier.
Tackle led by number 3, Kyle Napier.
But it is another first down for the Warriors. Crofton just keeps pushing that football. Oh, whistle, and it'll be a false start. Yep.
Penalty flag on the play.
That'll be on Jared Jansen.
Procedure against the Warriors.
And that'll result in a 5-yard penalty. It'll knock the Warriors back to about the 45-yard line.
We got first down and 15. Ball at the Monarch 45.
Been a relatively penalty-free football game thus far. Monarchs with that roughing the punter penalty in the first quarter. A couple of false start penalties, but other than that, a relatively clean game by both teams. Man in motion is Allen now across the formation. Pitches to Tramp. Almost stolen away by Truxa, but he's knocked down in the backfield by Andel. Rowdy Truxa almost intercepted that pitch, if you will.
Tackle made by number 38, Michael Engel.
But Michael Andel right in there to bring down Tramp for a loss.
Lost a couple on the play.
Loss of about 2.
Second down and about 18. Ball is
We'll call it a loss of 3. It'll bring up second down and 18. Warriors in the I formation again. One receiver split out to the near side. Weber under center. The pitch is to Allen. Allen spinning, knocked down. Michael Andel again meets him right at the line. A gain of very little. Maybe a gain of 3.
Third down, 15. Ball is at the Monarch 45.
Called a gain of about 3. Just under about a minute and a half to play here in quarter number 3. The Monarchs probably with their best chance on defense here, forcing the Warriors into a 3rd and long situation. They're at 3rd and 15. The Monarchs desperately needing a stop here. Certainly wouldn't want to give up a first down in this situation. And before that, we'll have a timeout used by Crofton. That's their second, so that's an important thing to pay attention to as we get in later in this game, as they only have 1 timeout remaining. Minute 16 left to go, quarter number 3. Warriors hanging on. They'll face a 3rd and 15 coming out of the timeout. So out of the timeout now, 3rd and 15 for the Warriors. Weber under center, Poppy behind him, man in motion, that's Allen. Rolling out to his right to pass, hit, dropped in the backfield. That's another sack for the Monarchs. Rylan Cromie delivers the hit on third down. Huge stop for the Monarchs. That's the fourth sack of the night for this Monarch defense. And this one at a huge point of the ball game. That's a loss of 10 for the Warriors, brings up 4th and 25, and they'll be forced to punt. What a play. That punt nearly blocked again. Fielded by Humlicek. Humlicek, he's got room to run out to the far side, out to about the 32-yard line. Brought down by Wiebelhaus. So with 23 seconds left to play in quarter number 3, the Monarchs now back on offense with a chance to maybe do some damage. Certainly got to be feeling some sort of momentum. After the big stop on defense, Teggy under center. One-man split to the near side. Man in motion is Napier. The give is up the middle to Handel. And he knocks his way down to the 35-yard line. And that will be the last play of the third quarter. As the clock winds down, the Monarchs will not try to run another play before the end of the third quarter. A great defensive stop for the Monarchs. At the end of this quarter, it gets them the ball back. We've played 3 here in David City. The score, Crofton 14, Aquinas 7. Don't go anywhere. Fourth quarter action coming right up. Monarchs out now to start quarter number 4. They'll have it a 2nd and 7 at their own 35. Monarchs looking to capitalize here on a great defensive stop at the end of the quarter. Levitsky in motion. The give is to Andel. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe gains a half yard. Not much there. Tackle made right at the line by Paxton Bartels. Bartels, a sophomore, 275 pounds. I tell you, you look up and down this roster for the Warriors. They have some big linemen. And it's shown here tonight. They've really moved the ball on offense and have really been an influencer on defense. 3rd down and 7 for the Monarchs. Teggy, he winds up, throws deep, got a man open. It's caught! The ball is caught! Pass caught by John Prohaska. And that is a huge pitch and catch for the Monarchs. I tell you, Teggy couldn't have placed that ball any better. That throw was absolutely perfect. And he found his man running down the sideline. Teggy now reverse play to Napier up the middle. 15, 10, 5, he's in. Touchdown, Monarchs. The same play the Monarchs scored on in the first half is the same play they score on here in the second. That play set up beautifully by the long pitch and catch from Tegi to Prohaska, capped off by the 23-yard touchdown run by Napier, his second of the evening. Prohaska now on for the point after to tie this baby up. And we have a penalty marker on the play, and it is offside, so that's interesting. Do you kick the extra point again, or do you maybe go for two this time? Head coach Ron Mimick is thinking about it. No sign yet. They're going to call a timeout and think about it. That just made it a little more interesting. So with the offside penalty and the Monarchs moving that much closer to the goal line, Coach Ron Mimick is going to call a timeout to decide what he wants to do. 11 minutes left to play, and the Monarchs with the point after try incoming. So out of the timeout, Coach Ron Mimick does elect to try for two here. And it'll have to wait just a bit longer. Crofton now calls their third and final timeout of the half, so that'll be important to keep in mind. Monarchs with two timeouts. Crofton now has used their third and final. And we'll have yet to wait on the Monarch two-point try. Both teams back on the field. Now we will see a two-point attempt here for the Monarchs. Tegi under center. Andel the man behind him. The give is to Andel. Andel stops the push. A flag on the play. And the signal is no good, but there is a penalty flag on the dirt. The penalty is face mask against the Warriors. That'll give the Monarchs another try. So perhaps another gift for the Monarchs. They have an opportunity to capitalize. The initial try by Andel was no good. The Warriors did stop him, but negated by the face mask penalty, and the Monarchs will get a second try at the two-point try. Tegi under center, Napier the back behind him. And now another timeout will be called by the Monarchs. A lot of anticipation here as we've now had 3 different timeouts called on this point after try. Nevertheless, we'll wait out the timeout for the try once again. So now both teams will reconvene after their timeout, and we'll have another 2-point try by the Monarchs. That ball is not more than 6 inches away from the goal line. Kind of got to wonder what's coming here. They're going to go quick. Teggy on a snap, and he is in there. 2-point conversion by the Monarchs, and they take a 15-14 lead. So a drive is capped off by a 23-yard Napier touchdown run. And after long anticipation, Teggy takes a sneak right over the goal line for the 2-point conversion. Now the Monarchs with the 1-point advantage will now ask the defense to do their part and stop Crofton. Important to note, Crofton is without a timeout for the rest of the ball game. So Crofton will not be able to stop the clock, barring an injury or running the ball out of bounds. Monarchs with 1 timeout, which may come into play later on. We're only a minute into the fourth quarter, 11:01, as a matter of fact, remaining in the ball game. John Prohaska in the kick. As I mentioned, Prohaska, the backup kicker for the Monarchs. Brian Check, the usual starter, has not played a down of football this season due to injury. Prohaska is kicked away. It's a pretty good one down to the 15-yard line. Return there by Tramp. Tramp bouncing over to the far side. And is knocked out of bounds right around the 40-yard line. Excuse me, right about the 35-yard line. And a penalty flag on the play is holding against the Warriors, so that'll back him up.
First and 10 for Crofton at the 36-yard line. Penalty on the play.
So on what was a pretty decent return by Tramp there, is essentially negated to only about a 6-yard return as he fielded at about the 15, and the ball's at about the 23, so give him 8 yards on the return. It'll be first down, Weber under center. The toss is to the back, met in the backfield and dropped. Rowdy Truxa, we've been saying his name all night, comes up with another big stop for the Monarchs. Rowdy Truxa, we've called his name all night long, coming up big for the Monarchs this evening. Drops him for a loss. It'll be 2nd and 11 at the 22. Clock running under 10 and a half now to play in this one. Here from Memorial Field in David City. On what's become a little bit of a chilly evening here. A little breeze, but certainly a beautiful night for football in Nebraska. Screen pass try now, tipped at the line of scrimmage and falls harmlessly incomplete. I didn't see who got a hand on it. Heck, might as well be Rowdy Truxa with how many times we've called his name tonight. Nevertheless, a Monarch paw got up in there and tipped that ball away. Now bring up 3rd and 11 for the Warriors. Ball still remains at the 22-yard line. Weber now under center. Probably got to figure another passing down. Allen, slow man in motion, now goes fast. Ball up the middle. Nice run by Tramp. We'll leave him about 4 or 5 yards short. Brett Kobza and Nolan Eller in on the stop for the Monarchs. So with the ball at the 30-yard line, we'll bring up 4th down and 4. And the Warriors now electing to go for it on 4th and 4. Big play incoming for the Monarchs. Now they punt is blocked. Punt is blocked. I believe Ryland Crofton, he falls on it. Ball's at the 10-yard line. Ryland Crofton gets down there and blocks the Warrior punt. And the Monarchs will take over in excellent field position at about the 14-yard line. What a play by Crofton. They've gotten close on a couple other punts this evening. The Monarch rushing attack has gotten close to blocking punts this evening. And finally they connected on one there. The Monarchs will take over. Our new quarterback is Lucas Sellers at quarterback now for the Monarchs. To give us to Napier. He tries to squirt around the edge. And he gains maybe a yard. Tackle made right at the line of scrimmage by Allen. Another big play by the Monarchs has left them in great field position with a golden opportunity to score here in this fourth quarter. Man in motion is Napier. Sellers give up the middle to Andel. Andel spinning, turning. Gets down to about the 11, maybe 10-yard line. Called a gain of about 4. Poppy in on the stop for the Warriors. Clock running now, and with Crofton out of timeouts, unable to stop the clock, as the Monarchs with a 3rd and 7. With Teggy back in at quarterback. Reverse again to Napier. Awfully close to that first down. It's close. Might be a yard short. That reverse play has been the Monarchs' friend tonight, as both of their scores have come on that play. And that play right there gets them awfully close to a first down. It's 4th and 1. Ball is right at the 5-yard line. Man, if the Monarchs could punch it in here, it would leave the Warriors with right around 6 minutes, maybe 6 minutes and change. But it remains to be seen as the Monarchs call their 3rd and final timeout. With 7:05 left to play in the game, the Monarchs knocking on the door once again. They'll face a 4th and 1 when we come back. Now out of the Monarch timeout. As I said, that 4th and 1 from the 5-yard line. If they could punch it in here. Teggy. Pitch to Napier. Napier's got enough for the first down. And just enough for the first down. He gets to about the 2-yard line. But it is enough for a first down, and the Monarchs knocking on the front door right here. 7 minutes remain in this ball game. And the Monarchs at the 3-yard line. Gonna look for another score here. Teggy under center. Turns. Handoff. Touchdown! Michael Andel reaches pay dirt. As I've said before, these Monarchs, they just keep fighting and keep fighting and keep playing. And they have that ability to just wear you out as an offense and a defense, really. As the extra point is up, and it is good by John Prohaska. So now with 6:51 left to go in the ball game, the Monarchs now claim an 8-point lead over the Warriors. It's 22-14. Monarchs to kick it off.
Kicking off be number 4, John Prohaska.
It'll be John Prohaska once again to do the honors for the Monarchs. Tramp back deep to return for the Warriors. Ball takes a bounce and rolls out of bounds. And that will be a penalty against the Monarchs. Tramp almost picked it up, realized he was getting close to the sideline, and let that ball just trickle out of bounds. Rather than taking the ball, the Warriors have elected to make the Monarchs kick once again. So Prohaska's got it teed up once again. He'll give it a try again. This is a good kick. You talk about revenge. That ball's going to go all the way to the end zone for a touchback. So Prohaska says, you want me to kick it again? I'll kick it again. This time you won't get a chance to return it. So an excellent kick by Prohaska. Ball rolls out of the back of the end zone. That'll be first down and 20 for the Warriors at their own 20-yard line. So Weber under center. Little motion again. Allen on the carry. And he's met right there by Andel. Rowdy Truxa, what else is new? Rowdy Truxa, awfully rowdy on defense tonight. As we have called his name what seems like every single defensive drive that the Monarchs have, it seems like he's always in there. Truxa, a 6'1", 205-pound junior. Has certainly been a force to be reckoned with this evening. Allen the motion man. Weber pitch to Trapp. He's going to try to throw it. And he's got a man. It's Ostermeyer. Drug out of bounds by Prohaska. That was a nifty little play. First time we've seen that this evening. As Weber with a pitch play to Tramp. And Tramp's tossed that one to Ostermeyer. That's about a 25-yard pitch and catch for the Warriors. No, without any timeouts, the Warriors unable to stop the clock here as they try to move quickly. Give is to Allen. Allen up the middle. Gains about 5, maybe 6. Kolb's in on the stop there for the Monarchs.
It'll be 2nd and 4. The ball is at the Monarch 48-yard line.
Second down and 4 as we get under 5 minutes left to play here in the ball game. Weber, pitch to Allen, now back the other way. Allen very near the first down marker. Looks like he is just short. Nolan Eller right there on the stop for the Monarchs. That'll bring up about 3rd and a yard for the Warriors. The ball is at the Monarch 45. Defense looking for a stand here. And Weber on the sneak. Looks like he's got enough for a first down. And he does. That'll move the sticks for the Warriors. As the Warriors not going away quietly here. They're still scratching and clawing at these Monarchs. As I mentioned, though, both teams out of timeouts. Looks like it could be a factor here late in the ball game. Here the pitch is to Allen. He comes back left. Has a blocking lane, cuts back right. He's got a big gain. And he's down about the 25-yard line. Stopped by Napier. And Keegan Levitsky also went on the stop for the Monarchs. With that clock still moving, that was a relatively substantial gain there by Allen. And the Warriors now in position, looking for a big stop from the Monarch defense. Tramp is the slow motion man. They give us to Tramp. He comes back to the left. And he knocks his way down to about the 22-yard line, gain of 5. Clock still rolling at 3.5 minutes to go. If it's one thing to get your heart pumping, it's certainly a race against the clock now. Time's certainly going to become an issue here regardless of what happens. Either the Warriors' way or the Monarchs' way. Weber under center, Allen the motion man. The pitch is to Allen. Stopped in the backfield by Rowdy Truxa. Who else tonight but Rowdy Truxa? My goodness, that man can just play football. A huge stop for the Monarchs.
Third down at about 7 balls to 24-yard line.
That's huge. As it brings up now 3rd down and 7 for the Warriors. Clock at 2.5 minutes now. Weber under center. Allen the motion man. Ball is on the ground. Still loose. Recovered by the Warriors. But it is 4th down. So Weber couldn't handle the snap. He fumbles it. That ball got kicked around for a while. And eventually was fallen on by Allen, which brings up 4th down. Well, here's the ball game right here. Warriors either get a first down and keep driving, or they turn it over on downs with essentially no way to stop the clock. Weber, motion man is Tramp across the formation. Weber gets the under center snap. He'll throw a prayer right down the middle. He throws it over the head of Wiebelhaus, and the Monarchs will take over on downs. What a stand by the Monarch defense. And with no way to stop the clock for the Warriors, that is, as the old saying goes, the nail in the coffin. As now the Monarchs will line up and just run out the clock. As Taggy looking. He'll take a knee and just milk that clock out. So a hard-fought battle this evening. Give credit to both teams. An absolutely wonderful game of football we saw here this evening. It was back and forth, a relatively clean game by both penalties. Excuse me, by both teams. Very few penalties is what I meant to say. I can only remember about maybe 3, 4, or 5 committed by either team. So right at a minute now, the Monarchs will advance to 4-0 on the season as they'll head to Oakland Craig next week and face the number 1 seed Crofton. Will fall to 1-2 on their young season. At 30 seconds now, one more snap, and that'll be the ball game. Staggy gets it and nails it. A great effort by both teams this evening. It was back and forth. The Warriors had the lead going into the locker room at halftime. They held a 14-7 lead, but the Monarchs just persistent. They come up with a few key stops on defense, a couple of turnovers forced, and as the clock hits 0, the Monarchs find themselves victorious. Well, it was a fun one here at Memorial Field in David City this evening. The Monarchs on the winning side of this one. The final score from David City tonight, 22-14. We'd like to thank all of you for joining us on YouTube TV. We'd like to thank all of you for joining, and please enjoy the rest of your night.